Leanne Rhymes on Kix 105.5. These arms of mine, they're wide open for a great big hug from my BFF, Mike Bear from Barrett Insurance Agency. How are you, Mike?
To quote a great movie, run, Forrest, run, but change Forrest to Mike. Change Forrest to Mike.
Oh, my goodness. You don't want my lovin'? You don't want my lovin'?
Again, to quote Jenny.
Run, Forrest, run. Good policies with Mike Bear, Bear Insurance Agency in St. Johnsbury. So, Mike, anything interesting and new been going on you want to talk about first?
Just we're getting to the busy season. It's the time where people are buying and trading cars, getting new fun things like boats, ATVs, motorcycles. It's a busy season. People are, it's the house buying season again, which this, interestingly enough, never subsided. The real estate market has been extremely hot
right now. It is just insane. And the fact that lumber, like just to get a 2x4, is like three times more expensive than it typically would be because of construction going on during these pandemic times.
Yeah, and my son's playhouse has a roof and walls on it. I sold it for $450,000. I'm so excited.
So, being that wood is more expensive, houses are being, sold at a record rate. Does that mean that insurance on things like additions on your home or homes themselves has gone up because of the price of homes and the price of materials?
So while the rate stays the same, the values are going up, and you're talking the right thing. What we often see, if you have a regular homeowner policy and you haven't had it for 30 years, it's relatively new within the last 10 to 15 years, it's highly likely you have an expanded replacement cost endorsement. Whatever the company that you're with happens to call it, it's essentially the same thing. It says, look, we'll pay up to an additional 20%. Some companies say up to an additional 25%. You can even get it endorsed where up to an additional 50%, I think with some companies, is as a limit that will be paid. So you think if you have $100,000, you have a total loss, it's not going to cost $100,000. It's going to cost $120,000 to rebuild. If you have a policy that has that expanded replacement cost, you're going to have that extra help to get that done. It's been there for a long time. Now, the interesting thing, Sean, and I don't know quite still how to wrap my head around it, is the cost of materials has gone up so quickly, so rapidly. In my years of insurance, I've never seen it go up this quick.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is wild. So, if you're concerned, and we've had this conversation with many folks, if you're at all concerned, this is the time to call your insurance agent and say, look, let's discuss the value of my home and see where we're at and see if it's appropriate. We all use methods to calculate replacement costs based on actual information available through various companies like Marshall, Swift, and Beck and Home Solutions and a bunch of other ones. These companies, all they do is do metrics and calculations of what the average cost it is to build a home. So if we're using that to determine it with current values, it's highly likely we're going to be close. And one of the actions that I've done over many years is we'll look at your homeowner policy, and if your home could be replaced, if I came back with a value of $250,000, maybe the inflation guard on your policy has boosted you up to $320,000. We can dial it back. We're not dialing anything back right now because it's just too unforeseen. We want to make sure we're playing it safe. I'd rather see somebody at this moment in time have a little excess coverage on their home than, God forbid, be in the opposite scenario where they're underinsured.
So today, I don't know if you've heard the forecast has strong winds, thunderstorms, and even possibly hail.
Yes.
Is there something we should know about hail in our homeowners policy?
So hail is a covered peril. Windstorm and hail is going to be covered unless you have a policy with real basic coverage, but even some of the basic coverage policies have that. So if you have hail damage to your vehicle, it's going to fall under comprehensive coverage. On your home, it's going to fall under your homeowner policy. Really not much you can do except if you order a lot from Amazon and have a bunch of bubble wrap that you can throw it around everything that you own. But it's going to be a hit or miss kind of day. But these types of days can be concerning because as you get it's not uncommon for a powerful thunderstorm day to have cells that have some pretty strong winds that can be like a downspout. And, I myself had that happen at a place I was living at. It pulled the power lines right off the house. It snapped the power pole in half, and I got to sit on my front lawn and watch the power company put it all back at like 2 in the morning, so it was pretty exciting. But these are the days that you find out how good your insurance is, and if you have the appropriate coverage, you should rest easy knowing it'll be okay.
You sound like a commercial for Barrett Insurance Agency.
I don't know how that's even possible.
But don't wait until it's too late. Call Barrett Insurance Agency.
But wait, there's more. And if you buy today, we won't do a darn thing because it's illegal.
Shut up. When you're doing insurance for people for, whatever the case may be, do you ever tell people as a side thing, you should maybe have a bank account that has extra money in case there's things that aren't covered or unforeseen damage that wouldn't be something insurable? Do you ever recommend to people just as a personal thing or as even a professional, look, it's great to have things like AAA and insurance on your vehicle, more than the state minimum. But have you ever said, you know what, in your particular case, or I can see that maybe you may want to put a little in the bank in case something happens that's not covered on your policy?
Yeah, we have those conversations, not necessarily in that fashion. It's more about when choosing deductibles. We're saying, look, you need to be available, you need to decide how comfortable you are with certain expenses. If you are able to afford it, and if you have that dialogue, sometimes we find that somebody with a $250 deductible may be better off with a $1,000 deductible because they can cover that exposure. But there's a number of reasons, whether A, like you said, maybe it's not covered, or maybe it's going to be one of those excess things that you just want to make sure you pay. We also have a lot of folks, anytime they have a claim, the first thing to do before filing it is they call and ask if it's going to impact their insurance. And if you're worried about that, it's not a bad idea to have a rainy day fund to pay out of pocket if you are ultimately concerned it could increase your insurance if you file a claim. So there's a number of reasons to have a little bit of a nest egg.
If you'd like Dad Barrett to give you some life lessons on how to save money and what to do,
I think my father won't want me to give his phone number, Sean.
You can buzz up Mike Barrett at Barrett Insurance Agency about any things we talk about on Good Policies Wednesdays, about 10 minutes to 8 o'clock, or questions that you have, whether they be related to our conversations or completely a thought like, if I opened up a horse farm and wanted to have people come visit it, would I have to have insurance on my horses or my stable? Mm-hmm. These are things that is a conversation that, albeit strange in some situations, like, can I park an airplane in my front yard? Well, talk to Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. You can talk to Mike by calling.
We call those regular days, by the way. 748-5224 is our number. We're located on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, Sean. The Tuesday after Memorial Day, we are open with no restrictions. We're very excited about that.
Oh, very nice.
No more fishbowl operations. We are open for business. We've been open for business with appointments and all, but it'll be nice to not have the restrictions. You can find us at our website, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
But get to the point. Can I have an airplane in my front yard? I mean...
a model one, yes. I'll get you one of my son's little die-cast ones. You can put it right in your front lawn.
All right, buddy. Talk to you next week.
Be well.
Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Be safe.